Well, welcome back to the Transformation Trek. You've reached part 2 of this season where we're exploring this idea of gratitude. And more specifically, we've called it the view of gratitude. And part 2 means that in part 1, we explored this, what we mean by a view. And we explored this idea that the world has a view for you. The world has a vision for your life. And it's not always evil, it's not always bad, but they're out to capture your attention. This is not a conspiracy, this is not even subtle. In every way, they're notifying you, they're buzzing you, they've got technology in every pocket, and they're telling you their worldview, their patterns for your life. And most of that is around the $1 trillion industry, which is capturing your attention and selling you their products. This is not a secret. This, as we explored in part 1, is what they do. If you don't feel like you're enough, if you don't feel like you have as much as your neighbor, if you don't feel like your life is complete, if you are riddled with anxiety, which we're going to explore in this video, then you will buy that product. You will go on that holiday. You will do that thing that you think will fulfill your life. And that is the way the world captures your vision. And again, not all of that is evil, but I don't know about you. As someone who wants to follow Jesus, and even if you're watching this and you're just curious, you at least admit that there's got to be a different way to be in this world. There's got to be a different vision. And for me, that's wanting to find out what Jesus' vision is for my life. How does he want me to be? What does he say about me and what I need and what I can contribute or at least participate with him? And we think that kind of sums up the Transformation Trek, looking at these tools that allow us to see the world like Jesus. And one of the most powerful ones is the one we're exploring this season, which is gratitude. Developing a renewed mind, developing a way of seeing the world through the lens of gratitude. And in this part, we just want to concentrate or explore this idea of having a grateful mind as we delve deeper into this practice. You see, as we've talked about this attention economy, the world trying to grab your attention, one of the ways it does this explicitly is through anxiety. It wants you anxious. Again, not a secret. News stories are no longer just information. They're editorials, they're opinion pieces, or entertainment. They're designed to, like kind of that cliffhanger at the end of an episode, you want to know what happens next. And that's normal, but they kind of amp it up to 100. One example of this is the tragedy that is the submarine recently that tried to go and have the Titanic tour. And I'm not getting into the details of that. You would have known about it, you would have seen about it because it was everywhere. And that's okay, that's informative. But one of the stations in the States actually had a countdown clock for how much air was left in the sub. We know that's not how the sub ended. It actually ended long before this countdown ran out. But still, I have to ask, do you think they put a countdown on their news program to inform the people? Just keep you educated? Or did they know, what we know they know, that creates a level of anxiety, that creates a level in us of needing to know what happens next because now there's a countdown, it's on. Like the season finale of your favorite drama. It's on, it's happening. Except this is real life. And real life isn't always meant to be that dramatic. Real life isn't always meant to be that anxiety filled. At least I don't believe it is. Real life is not meant to be a constant series of wondering why your life isn't going the way that you see in the movies or the TV shows or on your friend's Instagram reel. The highlight reels of their life and thinking, I need that, I need that, I need that, then I'll be okay. That can't be all that life is meant to offer. And so that is why we need to guard our mind, as it says in the passage in your practice guide. The letter Philippians, in particular Philippians 4 is what you'll be exploring if you're reading through the guide together. And if you're not doing it with anyone, read it through yourself. Have a look. But the author there encourages us to guard our mind. And that's my first question to kick around is, what does it actually look like to guard your mind? In a world that's throwing you this concept of anxiety, what does it look like to not always be anxious? To even not be anxious at all? What does it look like to stop those thoughts before they sink in? What does it look like to guard your mind? Is it something to do with what you're watching? Is it something to do with what you're consuming? I'm not necessarily telling you what to watch, what to not watch. I just ask, what was it doing to you? And so that's my second question, which is kind of like a question from last week. But how is your thought life this week? How is your thought life? What type of things are you worried about? Are they genuine things? Or are they things that you've been told to worry about? And if that's you, I'm not having a dig at you. I'm a human being too. I'm susceptible to worrying about my job, to worrying about what comes next, to worrying about not being the type of dad that I see other dads be, to not being the kind of husband that I see on those Hollywood films, to not having these lavish dates, to not being enough, to not doing enough. And it gives me anxiety. I'm with you. But what does it look like to stop those thoughts, to guard our mind, kick that around? And then ask, how is your thought life? What have you been thinking about? What's been consuming your vision this week? And then my third question is, what does it look like to reframe? What does it look like, as the passage in Philippians talks about, to think about good things? To think about noble, true things? To think about good and beautiful things? What does it mean to focus on things that are worth focusing on? I would love you to explore that this week. Love you to look at the practice guide and look at just some suggestions on how that might be practiced in your life. Things like gratitude journals. Or I've heard the expression winning the day, starting the day in the Bible, or starting the day in God's narrative, starting the day with God's vision. And so before you've even entered this pattern-forming machine that is this world, you've started with this idea that, hey, in Christ you're enough. Hey, you've got breath in your lungs and you are thankful. What a way to start the day. That's different to waking up and scrolling through everybody else's highlight reel. This is all up to you. None of the Transformation Trek is about making you feel guilty. It's about practicing this together. It's about transformation. And I hope as you delve deep into what it looks like to have a grateful mind, you can let us know how you're going, some things you're trying, some things you're practicing, and what type of effect is it having on your life. Hey, thanks for journeying with us. And I look forward to hearing your feedback, your comments. Look forward to hearing about your discussions, and also look forward to seeing you in the next part. See you then.